Good morning, Mount Juliet. This is Rainey. We are here today to talk about some things and get you guys ready for a big week that we have coming next week. Next week begins our College App Week, and we are leading into FAFSA Frenzy, and some of these things may be things that freshmen and sophomores you haven't heard of before, but we are getting ready to prepare our seniors for graduation. And May 23rd is a big day that we're all looking for. We are talking about Tennessee Promise, Tennessee Hope Scholarship, all kinds of scholarship. There's a bunch of deadlines that are going to be starting to hit really soon. And I wanted to make sure that everybody in our school knew about one of our really, really valuable resources for our seniors that we have. So first thing, I wanted to tell you a little bit about college. I know a lot of us talk about graduation and talk about things that are going on right now in the school, but I wanted to kind of let you be introduced to some of our different staff members and what they've done, because we've got some people who have done some pretty incredible things in their college years and afterwards in their post degrees. I know I attended undergraduate at University of Tennessee at Martin. I played softball, and then I also did dance team there for several years. I did all of my graduate work at the University of Memphis, and then I've also done some graduate work at Arkansas State University. So as of right now, I've got degrees from 3 different places. Wanted to introduce everybody. This is Nate Stewart. And Nate his title here in our school is graduation coach, and he also happens to coach a little bit of basketball every now and then. So Nate, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about where did you go to college? What's a little bit about your background?
Well, I started at Cincinnati Christian University, and I went there to play basketball and some baseball. And then I ended up at University of Cincinnati, where I got a degree in criminal justice with planning on going to law school. And then I learned a little bit about law school, and I realized that you don't get your name on the building right away. So I decided to go get my master's at Liberty University, and I got a degree in special ed education.
I think that's a story that a lot of people hear. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that go into college and start with one thing and actually end up doing what you think you're going to do coming out of high school. I started pre-med, and I was actually taking MCATs and getting ready to go to med school, and then at the last minute decided I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be the one that teaches the doctors, and so I went on and did graduate work to get my education degree. So I think a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to be this major and I'm walking in my freshman year and that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. And to be honest, that's not really how it usually happens. All right, so what is your job at Mount Juliet High School? I mean, we see you all over the building. Nobody sees you teaching a class, so nobody really knows quite what you do. So what is your job here at Mount Juliet?
Well, the title, as you said, is graduation coach. And my role is, as soon as a student steps foot on campus, my job is to make sure they graduate. And so a lot of that has to do with me dealing with seniors or students who aren't on track to graduate. And another big part of my job is when they leave here is making sure that they're involved in a program that's going to get them a high school diploma. So if they leave and they drop off the face of the earth, it's my job to make sure that they get enrolled at another high school.
So right now, so we're early. We're not even in the first 9 weeks, and I know a lot of seniors are already having graduation on their mind of what they're going to do, because we're starting to talk about getting applications in or applying to two-year colleges or all these different things. Right now, what are some of the things that you see seniors, what are you already starting to see a little bit of, or what are some of the things that you need to already start watching for here this early with seniors?
Number one is definitely attendance. There's a huge correlation from if you're in the class, you're going to do good in the class. And the students that I typically deal with, almost all of them have attendance issues or tardies.
Yeah. So if they, I know a lot of them see you standing with Miss Vestal in the mornings at the tardy kiosk. So what is that? What do you do with them?
What I'm looking for there is just looking for familiar faces, and then also if they clock in late and they have restricted lunch, I'm just trying to memorize their face so I can catch them in the cafeteria if I need to.
So you're being sneaky is what you did, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good. We like sneaky. All right, and then what else? So attendance, what else are you seeing right now that you're already having to kind of start working with some students on?
So, and this is mind-blowing, but turning in your work, that's a big one. That's crazy, but there's a lot of people that I'll meet with, and they'll tell me, like, I don't know why I'm failing this class. And I was like, well, you got 3 zeros, so that's why you're failing the class. And you know, the way averages work, that 0 can absolutely kill your grade. So if you get 100 on one and then you don't turn in the next assignment, you're getting a 50. And it's basic, and it might seem a little simplistic, but I think that's the root of most of the seniors, or really anybody in the building, failing.
And I think I hear a lot of seniors, and even my juniors, that are saying, well, I don't really know, I don't really want to do it, it doesn't really matter, or it doesn't really affect what I want to do, I'm not interested in it. But the reality is there's a whole lot of my job that I do that I don't like, that I'm not interested in, that I don't want to do, but I still have to do it and get it turned in, or else I don't get a paycheck. So I think it's a skill set that we may not understand or like what it is, but it's something you're expected to do. It's kind of like taxes. You have to pay them even if you don't want to.
Absolutely, and I think that that's probably the most important lesson you can learn in high school, is not necessarily something you'll learn in a classroom, but learning how to get stuff done, learning how to organize, learning how to not procrastinate, even when everything else outside of your school life is chaotic. Because everybody in this building, teachers included, life is going to happen. And the teachers in this building, if they have a bad day at home or they got something going on, they're still expected to be here and do their job. And that's a really important lesson for high schoolers, because when you got stuff going on, at the end of the day, you still got to take care of your work.
Yeah, absolutely. So if let's say I'm a senior and I'm missing some days and I'm struggling a little bit to get makeup work done, or I start to feel a little bit like I'm falling behind, what do I do? How do I get to you? What can you do to help me out with that?
Yeah, well, a majority of how I find students is teacher referrals, and then I run reports on Skyward to kind of find the seniors. But one thing that a student can do is just come see me. And my office is located across from the cafeteria, A150, and we'll figure out a plan. That's my job, is to make sure that you guys will turn stuff in, and my job is to set yourselves up to graduate. So, there's a lot of students out there that I'm not going to necessarily see or talk to, but I don't know there's an issue unless you come talk to me, or if that doesn't work, then I'll just have to come find you.
And I think one of the things that we are doing is on Fridays in RTI classes, all of our teachers have designated this as a Mentor Friday. And so teachers are going to be talking to everyone on Fridays about, what does your attendance look like? What are your grades looking like? Not just in their class, but in all of your classes. If they see a pattern, or if they see a problem, or they hear something, use that time to tell your teacher, I'm needing some help in this. Those teachers are emailing the administrators, they're emailing you, hey, I think we need to check on this one, hey, we're worried about this one, I haven't seen this one in 3 days. So that's the kind of information that teachers are sending to Mr. Stewart, and then he can take that information and kind of start digging and looking and see if there's something that we need to do to help them. So a couple of the other things that we have, do you only work with seniors?
No, not at all. In fact, one of the things that I started to see a couple of years ago is that the issues with the people who are struggling to graduate almost always started freshman year. And then there was just a vicious cycle of playing catch up. And so it's to the point where I'm going down to the middle school once a week to meet 8th graders who are kind of struggling there, to build their relationship there. And there's probably 2 classes of students in this building that I met with as 8th graders. So it starts at the very beginning, and if you can get positive habits early on, and then you don't have to worry about playing catch up later on.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing, is it snowballs on you. Everybody starts to feel like, hey, now I'm behind, now I'm even further behind, and then you get to the point where you're like, I just can't do this. And that's the point that we want to make sure nobody gets to, that we've got plenty of supports behind you. If there was one thing that you could tell all of our senior class right now on September the 18th, so we're early, what would you want to tell them today?
Turn your stuff in, do not get behind. Yeah. It's simple, but it's probably the biggest reason that seniors get put in a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple other little things, just some of the things that we hear about on campus that I wanted to give you a chance to explain what they are. I have a lot of students that come and ask us about TVALs. What is TVALs? TVALs. We've heard a lot about TVALs. I know you work with that a little bit. Yeah. I work with that more than anything, and TVALs is our online school through Wilson County Schools. What I do see is I hear a lot of kids that get behind after the first 9 weeks, and then they come and say, hey, now I need help. I want to do my classes online. Well, that's not really an option. TVALS is a full school. You have to start at the beginning of the school year. It's not an option to go to get caught up like what I think some people have the impression that it is. And it fills up. I mean, it's full right now. It was full after the first 3 weeks. So it is a great option if a traditional brick and mortar school is not a great option for you. But that is not a help me get my grades fixed option. That's just a different school that you go to. So I wanted to make sure everybody understood what TVALS was and what the use of TVALS is. It is an application process, and it's something you have to do well in advance. It's not something you can just come in and go, hey, I'm failing, I want to go over there. The other thing that we hear a lot about is the adult high school. And so I know you work very closely with Miss Ashby at the adult high school, and it's a phenomenal place. They do some crazy good stuff. So I just wanted you to explain a little bit, what is adult high school?
Well, to start, one of the things about an adult high school is I'm going to start by telling you what it's not, and it's not a GED program.
Yes.
And that's something that trips up a lot of the parents and a lot of the students. They kind of get a negative connotation with the adult high school, and it's a phenomenal place. And it's not a GED program. You're getting the same diploma that you would get at Mount Juliet High School. The only difference is, I don't know if you took away the diploma, but instead of Mount Juliet High School at the top, it just says Wilson County Schools. And it'll get you in the same amount of colleges that Mount Juliet degree will get you in. There's no difference as far as that goes. Another thing is, I think there's a misconception that we send the bad kids there. That's not the case. A majority of the kids that we have sent the last 2 years are kids who are trying to enlist in the military early and they need to graduate early. Yeah. And then there's a lot of other cases where something has happened in their life and they need to work. They need to provide income for their families. And so adult high school gives you the option to kind of work at your own pace, and it allows you to have a little bit more flexible scheduling when you're 18.
It's kind of a hybrid, right? It's some online, some you have to go to the building.
Right. Well, you all have to report to the physical building, but it is online work. So you're working on computers, and then another part of that is you're not on your own. Every computer lab has a subject-specific teacher in there. So if you're working on, there's some kids that get in as juniors. If they're working on English 3, they're going to be in the same room as a senior working on English 4, but there's going to be an English teacher in that building or in that room. So whenever you need help, you're going to get the one-on-one attention that you need.
So who is eligible for adult high school?
So it's 18-year-olds, and then if you're 17 and you have a hardship, and right now they're a little full, so they're pretty stingy with the hardships that they're going to let in. But if you're 17 and you have a life event that is going to cause you not to have the best attendance, or you need to graduate early, whatever reason, they'll need to get a hardship letter from the student and then the parent or the guardian. And if they'll have a hardship meeting, if the principal approves it, they can start at 17. And there's a different set of rules for the 17-year-olds. They are expected to be there whenever the building is open, and you're going to have the same attendance policies that you are here. And if you're 18, you show up when you can get there. And so that's one of the differences between the two.
So that is it's a good resource that we have, especially for our students. If they get to the point with us where they're not coming to school, you're not going to graduate, you're not on track to graduate, you don't want to do it anymore, it's a great viable option if you're 18. Absolutely. To be able to get your full diploma and not risk throwing away your future when you've got some really bright students. So good. All right, well, the only other couple things we have is we've got a couple big weeks coming up. So next week is College App Week. We are working on Tennessee Promise scholarships, and we're working on Tennessee Hope scholarships, and college applications are in full swing right now. This is the time. A lot of deadlines are October 1st. A lot of deadlines are December 1st. So please be sure you touch base with your counselor seniors and make sure that you're on track, and make sure that they're pushing out all kinds of information on your senior Google Classroom about what kind of scholarships there are and some different deadlines. The other big one that we have coming up, well, Friday, is the college visit for our seniors to Cumberland University. So our seniors that have signed up and have their slips on Friday, they're going to be going to Cumberland so that they can kind of have a last chance to look around and see what options there are and get some applications there. And then October 3rd is a big day. So October 1st is when the FAFSA, which is your federal and student aid application, is available online to be filled out by our seniors. Our counselors offer a night on October the 3rd for all parents of our seniors. They can come in and actually work in the library with counselors right there and get that FAFSA application completed. I sent an email to all the parents yesterday that had a list of what you need to bring with you to that. They have an appointment slot. They would like for you to make appointments, but you are welcome to drop in too. There's plenty of room. But the FAFSA is kind of scary. It's a big application online. You have to fill that out to be eligible for any kind of Tennessee Hope Scholarship or Promise Scholarship. We like to have everybody fill it out just because if there's a possibility of any kind of money out there, we want you to take advantage of that for college because it's expensive. It's very expensive. And so we want to make sure that you have that opportunity, and we want to help parents with that as much as we can. So October 3rd, that's coming up. This Friday, College App is our college fair, College App Week next week. Mr. Stewart, you're available, you're around. They know where to find you now. If you ever feel like you're getting behind, you need a little help, that's what he's here for. So any last words for our seniors?
Good luck, and if you need any help, I'm an A150.
Thank you, Mount Juliet. It's good to see you.